Indie Mogul.
You know, I feel like every time that I look up storyboards and how they're supposed to look, they always look really nice. And I used to think that to do them properly, you actually had to be a good artist, which I am the exact opposite of. Which I guess is just a bad artist. But today I'm going to show you the basics of doing storyboards and show you that if I can do them, anyone can. Storyboards are done so that you can visualize your film scenes before you actually shoot them, which is a huge help to have on set. It makes your life so much easier. It's a lot harder to forget to get a shot or, not get coverage or a certain insert shot that you wanted to have and you just forgot while you were on set. It's a lot harder to do that when you have a good visual reference on set and you know what the final product needs to look like. And there are some amazing storyboard artists out there, like really good, to the point where you feel like you can already see the final look of the movie when you look at them. Seriously, really amazing people out there. But if you're like me, then you are not one of those people. I mean, this is how I drew Griffin. It's like a preschooler with not a lot of talent. But you don't need to be really good at drawing to be a good storyboard artist. The important thing is that you can interpret what you've drawn and that you can effectively translate them into the images you want. To demonstrate just how bad an artist you can be and still make this work, I'm going to use a few very quick excerpts from the short film script that I've been working on. And no laughing. I'll know. Here's an excerpt that I showed in the screenplay episode a few weeks ago, where the cabbie adjusts his rearview mirror to see William in the back seat. Now, as you can see here, that's supposed to be the cabbie's head in the foreground. That is William in the mirror. Those are supposed to be the buildings. That's supposed to be the street. So as you can see, I'm not very good. And just make it so you can identify the characters. Like, I know that that's William in the back seat because of that really well-drawn cowboy hat that's on him. It's a pretty still shot, but alongside your storyboards, you can add notes that tell you things like the lighting. In this case, I wanted William's face as in shadow. Now, I already sort of shaded in his face to get that across, but just so that people understand that if they look at this and can't quite understand what I've drawn, William's face in shadow, except for brief flashes from exterior light. You can also say the action that's supposed to take place, cabbie adjusts the mirror. I'm not drawing a really bad arm reaching up, but, it will be understood that that happens in the shot. Here's a line from later in the script. Now he kind of does the dramatic turn back, and says his line. Now, if you want to show on-screen movement, you can use arrows within the frame. In this case, I'm showing that his head is turning around, but not his body. You can use this for anything. You can use it for walking. You can use it for any small movement that you feel you can animate just using an arrow. You can do that. Now, in this shot, I also want the camera to push in. Now, I could draw a second closer picture to show that that's what I want to have happen, and then just label it accordingly. Something I'm going to show in just a second. But in this case, I can show that the camera needs to push in just by doing this. I've drawn what the final framing will be. These arrows here show that the camera will push in. Now, just to show that it's a push and not a zoom, again, down in the notes, camera pushes in from medium to close-up. Now I've got the shot where the car full of the thugs is driving up slowly and they're all looking away from the camera out at the parking lot and the building in the background, looking for a particular car. Now I drew the worst car ever, but for the actual framing, I wanted it to be tighter, so I've adjusted the frame accordingly. You can actually draw the rest of the picture and just keep the frame for visual reference as to how it's supposed to look when it's shot. And again, I want the camera to move, but this time not, pushing in or zooming in, but I actually just want it to track along with the car. This is easier to get across if you use arrows that kind of cross the line from outside the frame into inside, and in this case, just for reference, I've written track. It's pretty simple. Drawing a car is not as simple for me. Now this is if you have one long shot, but you want to show multiple frames to show what the action's going to be. This one is going to be a shot that starts off on the ground, showing the door of a car opening, the legs stepping out, the camera pushes in and raises up and shows the character of William there, raising his gun and about to fire. Now as you go through your storyboards, you should number them, and if you have multiple frames for the same shot, you would just label it 1A, or whatever number A, then B, then C, etc. Now that's just a few brief storyboards for me, but they're good examples of what you can do when you really can't draw. But you do have other options. If it's a quicker shoot and you just sort of quick notes on how things need to look, you can actually do small thumbnails in the margins like this one here, which is just going to be a two-shot of the two characters in the cab, and I didn't need to do anything fancy. I just show the two characters are sitting alongside each other, facing the camera. That's the framing. Nothing fancy. But it's good to have on set if that's all you can do. Some people don't like to completely visualize it. They just like to make a shot list. They have a list of shots that they want to get, like extreme close-up, insert, master shot, and they'll just in writing describe what they want. and those can also be put in the margins. There are also computer programs that you can use that you can make digital art storyboards, and there's quite a few out there if you don't even want to touch pen and paper. And it doesn't always have to be as messy as what I've done here, so if you want it to look a little bit more professional, you can find templates for storyboards and shot lists and all that online, and that's really it from me. Again, I'm not good at this. I've said that 100 times at this point, but you don't have to be. You just need to be able to translate your images to the screen. And when we actually start shooting this short film, we'll come back to these storyboards and see just how well I was able to capture that. And another thing you can do that Robert Rodriguez actually does is that you can actually just go on set with a camera and just sort of video storyboard with your actors. Have them stand in their spots, get an idea of what you want it to look like, and just leave it at that. That's one of the videos we're going to be showing in the playlist at the end here. There's a little featurette on how he does his video storyboarding. One video I couldn't find anywhere online, unfortunately, but if you have the 7 DVD, you should check it out. There's an alternate ending where all they had was the storyboards and they had actors do voiceovers and they sort of animated it, which is called an animatic, which is a whole nother thing for another episode. That's it for this week. If you have any of your own techniques for doing storyboards or shot lists or anything like that, let us know in the comments below. We'll see you next week.
Yeah.